Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Dialogue, and today I have a very interesting topic for you. My topic is, are civil servants taking political sides? Are civil service taking political sides? Because see, nowadays it is very common to hear that, oh, this officer, no, now he will get promoted. Why? Because he is close to the government. He is very close to the chief minister, so he will get promoted. He will get good posting. That officer, not the other officer, or she will not get promoted. Why? Because she was close to the previous government. Now, where are we heading with this? Civil servants getting postings because based on their relationship with the dispensation, with the heads of dispensation, with the heads of government. Is that fair? Are civil servants now more bothered about public representatives than public themselves? This is the topic that I'm going to discuss, and this is the topic that I'm going to discuss with people who have had the guts to speak freely and have the guts to speak freely. And that's my subject today. Now, before I get into my topic, one more minute I will spend with you. You see, through dialogue, what I'm attempting to do is not to get these regular panel experts into my panel. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do are to get people who are on ground, who have faced it, who have been through it, who have experienced it, coming and talking to you. When I talk branding, when I talk imagery, I will try and get you people from the branding industry, from marketing, from advertising to come and talk to you branding. When I talk to you about politics, I will try and get you people from the political arena. When I try and talk to you business, I will try and get to you people who are economists, people who are doing business, who are working on ground. So the opinions will be real, practical. It may not be very dramatic or sensational, but the opinions will be real. Today too, I'm attempting the same. Two officers I have. One is Mr. Khobragade from Maharashtra cadre, senior retired IAS officer, who, like you will see in the program, as you know, does straight talks. No, he doesn't mince his words. And the second officer is Mr. Amitabh Thakur, IPS officer from Uttar Pradesh, who was forced to retire, who spent 7 months in jail because possibly, according to him, he didn't want to listen to the dispensation. Now, these are people who are going to talk to you about civil servants. Let's get right into the show. Mr. Khobragade, Mr. Thakur, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me in my show. And let me directly get into the questions. With Mr. Thakur's permission, can I, sir, ask you the first question? Sir, is civil services taking political sides? That's what I want to know, Mr. Khobragade.
See, we must know the nature of the civil service, and basically the civil servants, they are the inevitable integrant of the government apparatus. Civil servants in democracy, इनका जो रोल है वो रोल है, though the civil service is non-political, that is non-elected functionary, they carry out the administration under the direction and control of the elective representative. So that goes to say, by and large, the civil service take the side of political parties while discharging their duties. And today's time, it is very apparent that the civil servant, barring few, they take side of the political party in power. So I agree with what the caption you gave for this today's discussion. The civil servant mostly they obey what their political bosses says. Though the civil service basic nature is there has to be the persons of the integrity, impartiality, and transparency and all that, all said and done. They align with the political parties for so many reasons, and there are the reports also of the civil service reforms, administrative reforms, and all that. And it is said that yes, there is a nexus between the political bosses and the civil servant and to protect their vested interest. So I think to me,
That
as a civil servant, my experience is that barring few, they take side of the political party and they discharge their duty. Uh, in fact, not impartially, but the what suits to the political bosses.
Mr. Thakur, IAS, IPS, UPSC takes political sides. Civil servants takes political sides. This is what the topic is. What is your take on this, sir?
Sir, I fully agree with what my senior sir said, Mr. Khobra Garde said. Fully agree with him, sir. The fact remains that allegedly we need to be impartial. We have an All India Services Conduct Rules, 1968, and it is, ironically, the present government in the state, in Government of India, it made a few amendments in the conduct rule also, where they made it very specific that civil services need to be apolitical. It said that civil servants cannot and shall not take sides with the political persons, etc., etc. So it made it. The things were always there, but they were given a very specific name, slant, and specification in the present conduct rules. That is one side. That is what the records say. On the contrary, the facts are that every day, with the passing of every day, the civil services is going from bad to worse. When I started my service in 1992, there was political sidings with the political parties, but with the passing of every day, we saw a huge slide. I have been in Uttar Pradesh. I never got a chance to go in the government of India, but we have heard about the government of India also. The Uttar Pradesh I have seen very closely. Every next chief minister was worse than the previous one, and the civil servants were expected to toe their lines to do exactly what they did. We have seen chief secretaries obeying the chief minister's order and getting very fine government buildings demolished just because the chief minister wanted. We have seen the chief secretary signing to files to get a swimming pool sanctioned at Sci-Fi, the place of Mulayam Singh Yadav, where there was no such need. So everything has happened. Everything has been done by the civil servants. Every crime, I should say, actual criminal offense, administrative misconduct, everything has been done by the civil servants. I have personally been a sufferer all the time, and I have seen everything happen. Rape FIR was registered against me by the DGP, knowing fully well that it was a false FIR. He got it registered because the chief minister wanted to do so. Another police commissioner, another DGP got me arrested, knowing fully well that it was not a criminal case. I was in jail for 7 months. So I have seen the worst side of the civil services, and surprisingly, I will say that the situation is going from bad to worse, and I am very sure that the next government, like today there is a Yogi government in Uttar Pradesh, tomorrow there will be some other government, and that government, I am sure and I can predict well, will be worse than the present government, because their followers will say that we have seen this depth and we need to go further.
Mr. Khobargade, that's the question. It's a very interesting point Mr. Thakur raised. Each government is getting worse than the previous government. Is that what your experience is true, sir?
Yes, I experienced that also. I started in 1982. I have seen the earlier government. So, itna interference tha nahi. The political people have some patriotic feeling, respect for the civil servant, and the civil servant also they were functioning impartially for the common man and all that. But what Thakur sir has said, I fully agree with him also. With the passage of time, there is a drastic change, and change is from bad to worse. So I agree. और आज का जो सिचुएशन हम देख रहे हैं देश में, क्या civil servant they have become spineless. In fact,
is there a difference between a political dispensation in say Maharashtra versus political dispensation in Uttar Pradesh versus political dispensation in Bihar? Are there very glaring differences the way they handle civil servants?
So the functioning of the political party more or less same in every state. They want to
Ajay.
capture the power by hook or crook. By hook or crook. Now there is no service of the people. In the name of service of the people, they want a power, and powers, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the corruption is the main motto of the political party in the guise of the service of the people. If there is a service of the people, then we say so many reports, there is a wide gap. A gap is widening between the rich and the poor. They are the basic issues not at redress. There is no drinking water in the villages. There is no electricity in so many villages. The marginalized people are deprived of the basic facilities and the basic needs. So the government priority has to be to provide all basic facility. That is the directive principle of the state policy. The constitution says, but then it
Correct.
is neglected. If you read the report of the Venkatachalaya commission, which was set up in 2000 to review the constitution, so their findings, that report is very important report. और उस रिपोर्ट में इतनी अच्छी तरीके से कहा है कि आप पॉलिटिकल फेलियर है, पॉलिटिकल डीके है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का डीके है, सिविल सर्विस का करप्शन है, और मेन प्रॉब्लम बिफोर द सिविल सर्विस क्या है? तो डिक्लाइन इन द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी. कोई भी सिविल सर्वेंट, अभी ठाकुर सर को भी मालूम है कि सिविल सर्वेंट व्हेन ही एंटर द सर्विस ही टेक्स द ओथ ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. अगर हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के और लॉ ऑफ द लैंड को हम मानेंगे और उसके हिसाब से काम करेंगे. मुझे नहीं लगता कि अगर बारिंग फ्यू they have no faith in the constitution, their faith is something different, and that is the main problem also. There is a corruption, there is nepotism, there is a deterioration in the moral standard, there is arrogancy. So in the civil servant, that there is a arrogancy. Yes, civil services is based on the British line. जैसे कि ब्रिटिश को हम गाली देते हैं, तो वो भी हमारे जिस लाइन पे ये सिविल सर्विस इंडिया की बनी है, वो सिविल सर्वेंट उसी तरह से उनका ट्रेनिंग भी शायद होता है, इसी तरह से ट्रेनिंग अच्छा होता है. लेकिन वो जब फील्ड में आते तो जो पावर की कुर्सी पे अगर बैठ गए तो बैठने के बाद में इतनी एरोगेंसी है. और टुडे जो बच्चे अभी अभी जो सिविल सर्विस में आए, हम लोग जो उनको देख रहे, दे हैव नो रिस्पेक्ट फॉर द सीनियर, दे हैव नो respect for the common man. They only know how to manage the politician and gain the postings of their choice and do what they are not supposed to do. So the integrity and the devotion to the duty, these are the two main character of the civil servant. So that is being lost in the coming years. And what the Thakur sir said, it is going to back to worst.
Mr. Thakur, you first got into IRS and then again attempted and again got into IPS, which means you attempted twice and you got into civil services twice. So you really wanted to be a civil servant, didn't you?
Yes, I did want to become a civil servant, no doubt. I wanted to serve as a civil servant, and that is a fact.
So, do you regret that ambition of yours?
No, sir, I don't regret that. I mean, if Amitabh Thakur is concerned, if he is the issue of discussion, then he will always say that he wanted to be a civil servant. He was happy that he became a civil servant. He will remain happy that he became a civil servant because he saw what civil service is actually about, what are the fallacies that are marring it, which are making it bad, which need to be improvised, which need to be improved, which need to be worked upon. So if I had not been a civil servant, I would not have known the facts that I knew about governance, about bureaucracy, about the way things are functioning, and about the various fault lines that civil services and bureaucracy in general face. So that way, I find that I should have been here, and I thank God that He gave me an opportunity to be here. See, what I wanted to say was that something that Mr. Khoparagarde sir said, I am extremely pleased by what he said, and I thought that things, I mean, what is more fatal? If a man is docile and is corrupt, it is all right. to some extent. I don't say that. I mean, I don't say, give it a go by. It is better than a man who is arrogant as well as corrupt. Today, the civil servants are arrogant as well as corrupt because I mean he very very finely analyzed the situation. All that matters to a civil servant today is his political masters who count. They go after the political masters, make them happy, work for them, work only for them and for none else, and they get everything back in reward, and they keep their arrogancy intact to their height. And the sufferer is the system, sufferer is the people, sufferer is the constitution, sufferer is the people who repose their faith in this system, in the politicians and the bureaucrats. This nexus between the bureaucrats and the politicians is what is truly fatal today, and it is befitting. Just yesterday, I give a very small example. A new district magistrate of Balia was appointed. Balia is a small district in Uttar Pradesh. Before joining the district, he went to the residence of the local minister in the UP government and presented him a bouquet and got his Ashirwad. So for him, the only thing counts is the Ashirwad of the local minister. That is the only man. And the local minister posted the photograph on his Facebook and Twitter saying that the district magistrate has come to pay his homage. So all that the civil service has got reduced to today is paying homage and getting rewards and showing arrogance. And that is a truly dangerous nexus. So I will call it a truly abnormal situation for the Indian democracy.
Gentlemen, I want to ask both of you all this question. See, a politician is responsible. He is accountable to some extent, because he has to go in front of the people for votes after 5 years. The problem with bureaucracy is that they are not accountable. If they please the politician, then they can stay in their chair, get bigger and bigger and bigger chair, get more important postings by just pleasing the politicians. So now, when a person is not accountable and he is becoming more and more powerful, isn't that going to actually harm our country and our democracy? Mr. Khobargade sir, I will start with you.
Yeah, that is true. The civil servants are not accountable directly to the people, but they are accountable to the people's representative. In our democracy, the people are supreme; they are sovereign. But again, as what जैसे कि अभी आपने कहा है कि जो सिविल सर्वेंट का एक मुझे लगता है कि देयर इज अ नीड टू डू द सोशल ऑडिट of the civil servants' performance also. Their performance is judged by their seniors. In our this appraisal report, there are some indicators. That one indicator is the integrity and the character. 99% of the officer, their integrity and the character is written as good. So the question is, if they are so good, they are the person of the integrity and the good character, then why there is a corruption in the administration? Who does the corruption? So the social auditing of the civil servant is also important. And I think the civil servant, when they came to the service with the allegiance to the constitution, they should stick it to their allegiance. There should not be the breach of the oath they have taken of the constitution is the supreme law of the land. Or then Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar had said in the Constituent Assembly, however good a constitution may be, if those who are implementing it are not good, it will prove to be bad. However bad constitution may be, if those implementing are good, it will prove to be good. So it all depends on the bureaucracy. Because the bureaucracy has a permanent nature, they have a good protection under the constitution also, they have a privilege, they have the social status, every day they carry out their functioning. So the political bosses, they should not bother to please the political bosses. I do not say the political bosses, they are always wrong. They are right also, because I was also in the civil service. But you need not to take a undue pressure from the political bosses. You have a right under the constitution to tell them frankly, so this is not good and this is not proper, this is not legal, this I cannot do it. What else they will do? They will transfer you. what else they will do. But then only if the few individuals do like that, they are sidelined. And the majority of the civil servant nowadays,
Sir, sir, if I may interrupt, what else they will do is what Mr. Thakur has went through. What Mr. Thakur has gone through. He has been jailed for 7 months. So it is no longer about
yeah,
transfer and getting post.
that is true. I also suffered in my service when I did a good job for the tribals in the Naxal affected district, and the common man approach, poor approach. So this is the victimization by the politician if you do not agree with that. So this is bound to happen. That is the extreme case of the Thakur sir. I mean, this is a very unfortunate thing. In fact, there has to be a system in the administration to reward the good officer. But there is no system to reward the good officer. There is a system to reward the bad officer, those who are with the political bosses. Now, on the civil service day, the officers are rewarded. If we look at very closely to their character and the integrity, you may find they are some of them may be corrupt person. How the corrupt officer can be rewarded? So the point
Mr.
is
Thakur,
the honesty, integrity, and the impartiality has to be seen, and there is in our parliamentary functioning of the democracy, and then nowadays the quality of the politician in the democracy and the politician in power, the minister, there is a criminalization of the political system. They are there in the parliament, they are there in the assembly, they do not know what is the patriotism, what is the service to the people, what are the problems. They have come in the politics just to make money, and that is the bad part of it. So the जैसे कि ठाकुर सर के साथ हुआ, बुरा हुआ वो, तो इस तरह से होगा, कुछ लोगों के साथ हुआ है और ये होते रहेगा. लेकिन फिर ऑल इंडिया सर्विसेज एसोसिएशन, IAS एसोसिएशन, IPS एसोसिएशन, they are also very silent on all this what is happening. मुख्य दर्शक जिसे कहा जा सकता है कि इतने शांत बैठे हुए, अपनी अपनी पोस्टिंग, रिटायरमेंट के बाद अपनी पोस्टिंग, so much goes to the civil servant than the political bosses. So I was also in the civil service. I did not listen to the political bosses. So in 29 years, I was transferred for 21 times. So that is fine. I am also a victim of the system, doing good. But that is my inner self says what for I came in the civil service. I was honest to the constitution, and I tried to do honestly to the welfare of the common man. I think that is satisfying thing.
Yes, definitely. The answer is yes, a big yes. And the reason, as Khobragarde sir has said, the reason is the security that most of them enjoy. We enjoy also, like I was given compulsory retirement, but it is an exception. As a rule, if you join the service, you end up retiring whether you do something or not, as a rule. Only as long as you don't ruffle their feathers in a bad manner. If you are with them or if you are silent, you are extremely secure. So the concept of complete security is what makes them extremely dangerous. The security that they enjoy about their offices, about their chair, and as Mr. Khobragarde sir said, that these all India service associations do not speak up. They do not speak up against someone against whom the government is acting. But if a man who has been held in corruption, has been held in some other rightful reasons, then the services become active, and either through their networking or through their open advocacy of that officer, they support him. Summing it up, the officers feel so secure about their tenure, about their postings, about their well-being, that they become extremely dangerous. And at the same time, now, I mean, to enlarge or to explain how the various officers behave, there are 2 or 3 varieties. There is one variety of officers who align with only one set of political party. I mean, they get married with a political party once and for all. They will be doing wrong things for Samajwadi Party, for National Congress, or for Indian National Congress, or for BJP. These people are liked by every political party. We have an officer out here who has been the most coveted officer for 3 consecutive chief ministers. All of them do not see each other eye to eye. All the 3 chief ministers hate each other, but all of them love the same officer. I mean, a very, should I say, officer generally supposed to be completely entrenched in corruption. Everyone knows his name. But the fact is that he's near and dear to every political regime, for the last 15 to 20 years. So, I mean, these officers who are married to every political party, they are the truly dangerous species that our system holds, and they are proliferating like anything. This is true even in the government of India. There are officers who were close to the Congress party, they are now close to the BJP, and they are enjoying their posts, with the perks and the rewards every time, and doing wrongful deeds. Firstly, they did for Congress, now they are doing it for BJP. And if they remain there, they will do it again for Congress when it comes back, whatever time it is.
My last question to both you gentlemen is, sir, is there a need to change the system of recruiting civil servants, the system of training civil servants? Is something more needed to be added to their training so that they become a little more unbiased, they become a little more focused to serving the public instead of the public representatives? Kobarkade sir, I'll start with you.
They are properly trained at Labasna, and there is a periodical training also. So the training is there. However, what I feel, the civil servant they should remember what for he came in the services. The creation of the civil service is of the Constitution, and and the Constitution says the civil servant should be a man of integrity. It should be a man of devotion to the duty, and he should see the welfare of the people. So if he's honest to all these things, I think he can do the better service for what he came in service. So the training is there. There can be some modification in the training and some additional training. But then they need to tell what the patriotism is. So there is a lack of national pride among the civil servant, today's civil servant also. So I think impartiality and transparency in their functioning for the good of the people, proper interpretation of the law and the Constitution, these are the satisfying factor. But then again, all said and done, the civil servant at the top also and at the bottom at every level. So there is a deterioration in the moral value. That is the very disturbing factor, the moral value. That is the reflection of the society as a whole. Only the civil servant cannot be blamed for that. But those who are the chosen among the lakhs of students, they are given proper training, they are good perks, they have a social status, they have a lot of power. If the district collector, is a lot of power with the district collector. What the district collector does, he does the very simple thing. The basic needs, delivery system, good law and order. Why he needs to take the bribe for signing the file? That is the whole problem. That is the individual problem. And now there is a lot of increase in such type of the civil servant from the first day when they came from the training and the first posting, they start making money. If they start making money, so then everything is lost. Character is lost, everything is lost. I think that is the loss to the society, loss to the, and it damages the national integration and the unity of the nation. What I feel in larger perspective must see, it was not expected from the civil service when the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru wanted not to continue with the Indian civil service. That is the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in the Constituent Assembly wanted the civil service to continue. That is IAS and the IPS. But then they should go look at the history and the past glory of the civil service and our constitution. I think they lack of the constitutional morality also. That is the whole problem. So how to train them to be a good civil servant? So, I think again society has to ask the question to the civil servant. That is the social auditing of the civil servant should be done. Ask the question. If there is a corrupt officer, they should ask question to them directly. There has to be some law sort of thing. The people should write the appraisal report of the civil servant of their area independently.
That's a very good idea.
There can be some changes can be made in the system.
Thakur sir, constitutional morality, can that be inducted into a civil servant through training or induction program or whatever?
The first is that, as rightly said by Mr. Khobarkar sir, there needs to be a 360-degree assessment in which other than the seniors, the colleagues also, and the subordinates and the people who are the stakeholders, the general common men, they also need to write the ACRs or what we now call the PAR, performance appraisal report of the officers. It needs to be 360 degrees and not only of the superior officer, because today what is happening is that they make good terms with the superior officers, oblige them and get good ACRs despite being extremely poor civil servants. So that is the first thing. And the second point, I think, is that in all the complaints that are made against the civil servants, the inquiry or investigation shall be taken by an independent body, like what the British system is. There has to be the grievance redressal shall not be by the own superior officers who generally take money. Because, I mean, in UP, they say, Jaach nahi to aach nahi. What it means is that every inquiry generates further bad money. You present a complaint against an officer, he will have to cuff money to get it cleared. So, I mean, this situation needs to change, and an independent inquiry system, an independent grievance redressal system needs to take its place. These, I think, are the two practical ways in which this what you call constitutional morality can be enforced.
Both you gentlemen really enlightened today's program. Thank you so much, sir.